What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing out there in internet land? So I've got the man, the legend, and the myth live here in person, Paul Olson.
Reasonable facsimile thereof, or something like that.
There you go. The relational technologist. When Todd was doing the intro, I was telling Paul, I said, I came this close to wearing my Pokemon shirt because I knew he would be wearing some kind of a superhero cartoon type shirt. So that's kind of your everyday attire, right?
It is. I just got to keep, young at heart that way.
And a Harley shirt is my everyday attire. So, but how you been, Paul?
Been good. Been good. Staying busy, but good.
Really?
Real estate market's keeping us busy.
So what are you working on right now?
We're doing a lot of owner finance, working on a lot of stuff like that. Also doing some personal investing on the side. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've kind of moved our model. Our model has shifted. We used to do a lot of wholesaling and a few seller finance. The market has turned. We're doing a lot more seller finance, a little bit of wholesaling. But in fact, we have two closings this week. We have one in Tennessee and one in is it Alabama or where's he at? It's Wilson, North Carolina.
Wilson, North Carolina. That's
Wilson,
right.
North Carolina, and then one in Memphis, Tennessee.
That's right.
So so we're just rocking and rolling. And you're doing some stuff on your own too.
Some stuff on my
You
own.
got an awesome fix and flip. Tell us about that.
I do. I got a house actually here in Charlotte that literally just kind of landed in my lap. Just all about having the right connections, the right people, the right place, at the right time. Picked it up. I think my all-in on it's going to be right around 129, something like that.
So around 130.
130. When I originally picked it up, it was a little bit of a gamble because the comps in the neighborhood were around the 150 to 165, something like that. But I was the biggest house in the neighborhood. I have half an acre of land, whereas all the rest of the lots of the land are like a third of an acre or less. One of the bigger, I think the other comps are like 1,300 square foot or lower, something like that. And I'm 1533.
Wow.
It's an older neighborhood. It's built in the 50s and 60s, but it's a new, hot, up-and-coming area.
Great.
Perfect market. All the comps days on market were 5 days, 6 days, 9 days on market. Full asking offer.
Wow.
So even with the gamble, I still had money to make, even if it's like $20,000. But since I picked up the house, there have been more properties that have popped up, and each one has gone for more than the last.
Oh, so the comps are getting higher.
So they're getting higher and higher,
That's
and
good.
they're getting the appraisals in there. So when I picked this up 2.5 weeks ago, we were thinking maybe like a 165 ARV. Then about a week later, we're looking at maybe like a 177. There's a new one that just went that if it does get the appraisal for, and I'm paying attention to the agent to see if it does go based on price per square foot, they'll put my house at 210.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
So it's being all about the right place, right time. We're doing it right. We're putting $40,000 in rehab into it. But, I've got about 2 more weeks left on the rehab, and I'm just waiting to see if that 177 comes through, because if so, I've got a 200K house on my hands.
That's awesome. And you got about 130 in it.
Exactly. So it'll be a nice day.
That's sweet. That's good. Even with paying for, like if you use hard money,
Mm-hmm.
paying the realtor commission, 6%, that's $12,000 off the top.
Oh, yeah.
You still got plenty of money left.
Oh, totally. And it's one of those I'm doing along with Bill and Wendy, and they've been great and helpful for me on all that whole stuff too.
That's cool.
And there's money to be made even doing the hard money loan. There really is.
That's awesome.
So
That's really good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
cool.
you.
That's, a lot of the people who work here in our office, they work with us, but they also do deals on their own. And that's one of Paul's deals that he's doing on his own. Not his first, won't be his last.
Yep.
So we want to talk to you about seller financing. And many of you have my training program, filthyriches.com. So Filthy Riches talks about buying dirt cheap houses, selling them for 3 to 6 times what you paid for them with seller financing, where you can get some huge returns on your money. We do webinars over there at filthyriches.com all the time, and you can get some information about that. There's a 7-part video series. But anyway, that's we're moving more to doing more seller financing, because what we have found is we can actually make more money than wholesaling by selling a property with seller financing. But the best part is we're able to pay more for it than if we're wholesaling it. For example, a wholesale deal, it might be listed for $35,000, Well, we may need to pay $15,000 or $20,000 for that property if we're going to wholesale it for 20 to 25,000 or whatever, and or 25 to 30,000, something like that. Even though it's listed for 35,000, because we've got to buy it deep enough so we can add some to it. Our buyer fixes it up, and then they have plenty of spread, like in Paul's fix and flip,
Exactly.
to be able to turn around and fix and flip it. Well, what we found is we could take that same house that's listed for $35,000, and we could pay 30 for it, and turn around and sell that house for say $69,900, and get, let's just say we only get $5,000 down on a $70,000 house. That's not unrealistic at all. We just got $5,000 down on a house that we paid $14,450, and I think Paul's going to tell you about
Exactly.
that. But say we paid 30 for it, which was 5,000 less than list. We turn around and sell it for $69,900. We get 5 down. We finance $64,900. That payment's going to be around $583 a month. We finance them for 9% for 20 years. I could turn around and sell that paper, that 20-year note. I could turn around and sell that thing for $45,000, and that's a 15% yield to my note buyer. Now let's do the math. I'm in it for 30. I got 5 down, so now I'm in it for 25. I can sell my note for 45. I just made $20,000 on a property I didn't even touch.
Exactly.
Now, I had to sell it twice, okay? I had to sell it to my seller finance buyer, and then I have to sell the note to a passive investor. But still, I made $20,000 on that one property, and the key is I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. Now, a couple of things that you need for properties like this for it to work. It's got to be livable, okay? Especially in the higher price. Now, with my Filthy Riches model, the Filthy Riches model, I've done deals as cheap as a couple thousand, as high as, $30,000, all right? So, but with the Filthy Riches model, if you're paying, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 for a property, you expect there's gonna need to be some work, okay? Even before the person moves in. However, when you're paying $30,000 for a house, you can get houses that are livable. I mean, move-in ready, right, Paul?
Carpet and paint.
Yeah, if that.
Yep.
If that. I mean, we've had some that had hardwood floors throughout. They're livable. They're move-in ready, and people go out there and they're looking at these houses, going, "Wow, I can move in right away." And all I got to do is put $5,000 down.
Yep.
We just did a deal where it was a house that we paid. Well, I'm gonna let Paul tell them about that deal that we did up in
Jonesville. Yeah. Just right outside of Wilkesboro, the suburbs of Wilkesboro.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, the big old town of Wilkesboro, up in the mountains. We actually got a HUD house, and it was a double wide, 1999 build, 2,300 square foot, but it was a 5-bedroom, 3-bath.
What?
Yeah, it was a big one. And it was near the local school, so it was near the families where they want to be, that kind of thing. It was almost on an acre. The house on the left was a single wide. The house behind it was a single wide, but that was it. Outside of that is country area, rural, but still the house was in good condition. On the outside, the inside, give you an idea, there was actually holes in the wall on this one.
Wow.
Yeah. There was actually holes in the wall. Some of the subfloor where the center of the trailer came together, it was actually a little bit stinky, a little bit soft. Countertops needed to be replaced because they were chipped and cracked. Needed some paint and carpet.
Right.
But we picked this up, I think it was listed for right around 35, 30, something like that. We picked it up for $14.95, somewhere around in there. Now then, we went ahead and put it out there for owner financing. We were able to get somebody to take the house as is, not us doing a single bit of work, for $75,000.
Now, what did the comps come in? Like if the house was fixed up, ready to go, where were the comps?
The comps fixed up and ready to go were right around $85,000 to $90,000.
Okay.
So we were still below what the market value is. So really, if the person, when they go to do the work, they're going to be right there at what the retail market value is on that property.
There you go.
So we're still within reason for what's going on in the neighborhood.
And we sold it for $75,000.
We sold it for $75,000, $5,000 down. So all we had in that property was $10,000.
Check it out. We had $10,000 in that property. Now, what we did after that, we went in and sold that note. We sold that note for $40,000. Well, actually, I think it was $38,000 is what we ended up selling that note for. Okay, and we took a little bit more of a discount on it, even though we had a $70,000 note. We only sold it for $38,000, and which was actually a 20% yield to our note buyer. Now, guys, don't get too excited because all of our yields are 20%. Okay? Most of them are 10 to 12, sometimes 15%. Okay, and we even sell partials as well. So we sold that note for $38,000. But if we had $10,000 in it, 38 minus 10, we made $28,000 on a double wide in a rural area. Now, yes, it needed a little bit of work. It had a few holes in the walls, needed some countertop, and had some weak spots in the floor. But outside of that, that thing was ready to go.
Exactly.
And the guy was a handyman. He's going to move in there. He's going to do the work, fix it up, get it going, and he'll have a house worth between $80,000 and $90,000. Okay, and it was a great deal for the note buyer because they get a passive income of, it was like $600 and some a month coming in for the next 15 or 20 years. I can't remember if we did 15 or 20, but on that one. But it was a great deal for the note buyer, is a great deal for the house buyer, and we sold that deal on a land contract. Okay, and it was a great deal for us because we made $28,000 on it and we didn't touch it. Now, another thing I want to share with you is we had some other people go out and look at that property. You remember that one lady that called in? She said, "I can't believe you're trying to sell this house for $75,000. It's got some holes in the wall. It's got some weak spots in the floor. You know, the countertop could use replacing. I can't believe that." Well, it's just all a matter of opinion. I mean, this lady, she left and she called back complaining, and I happened to be the one to answer the phone, and I got an earful. And here I'm telling these guys, what's up with this? This house is not even livable. I got this lady here complaining about it. The very next person that called in, they were thrilled. "Yeah, I got $5,000 to put down. I'll pay $75. Yeah, I can handle $600 or whatever it was a month." And we sold that house just like that. Didn't even touch it. We never saw it. You never saw it. Only the buyers saw it. Okay, and it was a HUD house. And my VA in Pakistan, he's the one that made the offer on the house. Okay, so that's just one prime example of a seller finance deal. And guys, we get these deals all the time. That's the majority of the deals that we're doing right now. Okay, we're buying, we're selling, we're paying closer to list to the property, but we're being very selective in the types of properties that we're buying. We want to make sure that the property is livable. Okay, it's livable, it's ready to go. In fact, I've got some buying criteria that we make sure about the house. Here's my buying criteria basically. It's got to be at least a 3.2. Okay, I will take a 3.1.5 if it's like a brick ranch house, and I do like ranches, but I also like double wides. More on that in just a minute. But I want at least 1,000 square feet. Okay, at least 1,000. I like a lot more than that, but at least 1,000 square feet. No, none of these bungalows, none of these old houses. I don't even want to buy houses that are older than me. If it was built before 1960, I'm going to do a lot more due diligence. Okay, that's when I was born. So I love double wides. Okay, here's why I love double wides. Number one, you can buy a nice double wide. Okay, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, acre of land, 1,600 square feet or more. Okay, a nice porch, deck, whatever, out in the country. It doesn't even have to be rural, but out of the city. And I can pick them up for $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, even $50,000, and I can turn around and sell those for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 with seller financing. And then when I sell the notes, I can sell either a partial or a full. If I sell the partial, the investor's going to be in it at about maybe $25,000 or $30,000, but it's a great deal for the investor because even though I sold the property at maybe 70 or 80, 90,000, the investor's only in it at about 30, which is about what I got in the property, and they're getting a great passive return on their money, 8, 10, 12, sometimes 15% return on their money. and then I get the back end.
Right.
If there's 20 years on the loan, I could sell the first 5 years worth of it at a 12% return. And then after 5 years, I got another 15 years coming in and I got nothing in the deal. It's win-win for everybody, right?
Totally. You know, the way I look at it, especially with the double wides, I like to follow smart money. When I see smart money buying something, I want to follow them.
That's really
You know who one of the biggest owners of double wide is in the country?
I do, but tell us.
It's Berkshire Hathaway.
That's right.
Good old Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett
is, buying these things up like crazy.
He owns more mobile homes than anybody else in the country, in the world. That's him, Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah. And I like to follow him with smart money. He's a smart man, and he knows what he's doing with his money.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Is there another deal that we were going to talk about? Do we have another example?
Well, you mentioned of it. Let's talk about this one real quick.
Okay.
You mentioned Wilson. That's closing this week.
Yeah.
There's a story on this one you probably don't even know yet.
Maybe.
So this is one that we picked up. It's a FSBO deal. This is one that actually I think you put out some Craigslist ads yourself personally just to see what happened.
I did.
And called in. This one actually did not match your criteria. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, less than 12,000 square foot.
That's true. That's true.
But it was a FSBO, so we weren't having to really put any money out or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
like a $50 deposit.
exactly. So we just figured out, see what happened. Do you know who's actually buying that house?
You know what? I actually Juanita told me.
It's so funny because the person buying this house is actually the owner's daughter. She's been trying to buy this house from the owner for years and years and years, but he's refused to sell it to her. And when she found out that it was actually for sale, she came in, found us,
Called off our sign.
called off of our signs, is actually putting in a deposit, is actually she's actually paying cash for this property.
She is. We were
She's
going to
paying-
sell her finance.
She's paying cash for it. She's going to fix it up and turn it into a place for some of her family members to live in.
That's awesome. And I don't know why she didn't want her dad knowing that she was buying it, but she didn't want her dad knowing because he wouldn't sell it to her for some reason. I don't know. But she told us about that after she signed the contract. I'm actually his daughter, But it was just kind of crazy.
It's funny. It's one of those that she went back and forth as to whether she's going to own financing or not. She finally had to do cash. And that's the thing is with us sometimes, we'll offer, if they have the cash and they can pay and give us a good amount, we can go ahead and do that right there on the spot.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And this property, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath brick house on a corner lot in Wilson, North Carolina. And it's with an individual, so the contract's assignable, this, that, whatever. I'm actually doing that deal in my HSA, my health savings account.
Yeah.
And with my HSA, I only have $500 in there. Okay. I only put $500 in there at the beginning of the year, and I could use that to pay my deductible for my health care. And once I reach my deductible, then the insurance pays. But I have a high deductible, $10,800 a year. So with that deal, we paid $16 for it. And we're selling it for, it's either 25 or 26. Do you know?
I think it's 26. Like we're getting 10K split on it.
I think we're getting a $10,000 profit on it, but we had it for sale with owner financing for $39,900. That's what we were going to sell it for, $39,900. And the girl was going to put around 15 down, but because it's in my HSA and I didn't have the rest of the money to close on it, then we asked her if she had cash. And she said, yes, I've got some cash. So how much do you have? We ended up just selling it to her at cash. So that way I can cash out, get the 10 grand, put it in there for my HSA, and now I got the money to meet my deductible. And I have one more deal right now going on in Alabama that I'm doing the same thing with in my HSA.
Yep.
But guys, you never know if you don't ask. You never know if you don't ask. And even though it was a 2-bedroom house, okay? Even though it was just a little 2-bedroom house, it was a nice house, decent house in a decent area, brick ranch house. They had a lot of pictures. It only cost us $50 to go in there and take a look at it and get it under contract to see what we can do. And we ended up making 10 grand on it.
Yep.
So that was a really, really good example.
It was. And it's one of those, we could have gone either way. And she was actually looking at doing the financing side to it, but she wanted to put the cash.
That's right. She just wanted to own it free and clear.
Exactly. So you just got to look at these deals from multiple options.
You just never know. You got to get out there and work the deal. In fact, just real quick, I got a deal I'm doing right now. The lady called me back. I ran some Craigslist ads, and the lady, been working this lady since June. She called me back yesterday. She said, yes, I will take your offer. And and I had offered her $23,000 for a nice double wide on an acre of land. She's living in it right now, so I know it's decent. She said, and every time I would call her, no, I think I got it sold. I think I got it sold. I got somebody that wants to put 15 down and they're trying to get the balance from somebody else. So I just literally got off the phone with her and with the person who wanted to put the 15 down. She's selling it to me for 23. Actually, I got that renegotiated down to 21. So I'm paying 21. She sent me the buyer that's putting 15 down, and they're paying $40,000 and going to put 15 down. So I got my seller and my buyer. I don't think you knew about this deal.
I overheard actually.
You heard me in there talking a while ago.
Heard you.
So I got my buyer. Actually, they said, you know, the house does need a little bit. It needs this. It needs that. So I let them drop that down payment down to $10,000. So I got 21 in it. 10 minus 10,000. I got 11 in it, and they're going to be paying me, you know, $400 or $500 a month, and I'm doing that one in my IRA. So we're sending out a contract on that one today. So my seller literally brought me my buyer. I don't have to do any marketing or anything for that deal. So you just never know. You got to get out there and get involved. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in a minute with Bill Fairman, the man, the legend, and the myth, the real estate financing entrepreneurial mogul himself, live and in person. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.